As a kid, I think the anime fooled a lot of us when it came to the ghost type. It was said that they had the type advantage over psychic types, easily the most powerful type in Generation 1. And hearing this as a 9-year-old kid, you're damn right I took my happy ass to Pokemon Tower to catch myself a Ghastly or Haunter, only to find out that I was lied to. Because of a coding error in Generation 1, the psychic type is immune to the ghost type, and well, there aren't a lot of ghost moves to choose from. Lick is base 20 power, and the Gengar line isn't known for its attack stat. Nightshade is a set damaging move, and Confuse Ray just causes confusion. But if we also consider that the Ghastly line is part poison type, this means psychic type moves will hit them super effectively. You guys have requested me to attempt this in the comments of my other Nuzlockes, along with the dragon typing, so here's my attempt at a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Blue using only the ghost type. The rules are on screen but also in the description. Now, I know one of my rules says I give myself rare candies to cut down on the annoyance that is grinding, but with only being able to use a single Pokemon in this challenge, I don't think I'm going to be touching them. Especially because Ghastly is in the medium-slow level up group, which is the same as the Kanto starters, and is arguably the best growth rate for a solo run, which is essentially what this is going to be. I'm going to be going minimum battles pretty much the entire way. I only fight the rival, because you can't lose to him with a Ghastly, and the mandatory bug catcher before taking on Brock. You do have to be careful in this battle against Onix, because it does outspeed you, and Bide in Generation 1 can hit ghost types. Brock, however, doesn't stand a chance against my Ghastly, and after defeating him, I jump from level 7 to 11. And this is where things start to get difficult in this Nuzlocke, and I say that very loosely. The difficult part is managing experience points, but also Misty isn't going to be an easy battle with only one Pokemon. In Mount Moon, I do grab the Mega Punch TM. I wasn't sure how much experience I would be able to squeeze in considering there's only a 3-level difference between Misty and Surge's Cap, and as much as I would like the Body Slam TM, we may have to skip it. The good thing is that I don't have to take on Misty right away once I enter Cerulean City, and well, I can't because there's a mandatory junior trainer you have to battle first, but I can battle her, my rival, and trainers on Nugget Bridge to get to her level cap of 21 beforehand. The most annoying thing about this rival battle is getting hit by Sand Attack from Pidgeotto, and the only attack that could possibly hit my ghost type is Charmander's Ember. The fire type does hit me with this move once, scoring a critical hit, but other than that, Ghastly is able to pull through this one. I was able to defeat the junior trainer in Misty's gym and the 5 trainers on Nugget Bridge before reaching her level cap of 21. I won't say that level 21 is absolutely necessary in this fight, but it does make Nightshade a 2-hit KO on her lead Staryu since it only has 41 HP. The real problem though is Starmie. It's faster and I don't want to see a critical hit Bubble Beam from this thing, or Bubble Beam at all. I start off by confusing it because I do need some help with it hitting itself. Misty going for an X defend to waste her turn would also help us out, which we get on the very next turn. Starmie does crit me with a water gun, bringing Ghastly to 10 HP, but it's too little too late as Nightshade knocks it out, earning us the Cascade badge. With Ghastly being level 22 already, we're going to be cutting it close in terms of experience. I still have the mandatory Rocket at the end of Nugget Bridge, the Hiker with a lone Onix, the Lass with 2 Nidorans, the Junior Trainer, and the Lass before reaching Bill's house. On top of that, there's the Innocent Bystander as we try to leave Cerulean City, along with 2 junior trainers blocking my way to Vermilion City, and I still have to take on the rival on the SS Anne. Speaking of that first junior trainer, I want to highlight that battle. She has 3 Pidgeys. All 3 of her Pidgeys have something in common, aside from their stats, typing, level, and etc. They all know Sand Attack. I've sped this battle up because you can guess what happened. I ran out of PP and I had to use Struggle. On 4x speed, this battle was nearly 1 minute and 10 seconds, which would make it nearly 5 minutes on 1x speed. Unfortunately, the run ends at the very next trainer. Even going minimum battles, Ghastly reaches level 25 before it steps foot in Vermilion City. But hey, at least it gets to evolve into a Haunter, and I can even trade said Haunter immediately to have have Gengar. But I guess the video's over now, right? We exceeded the level cap, we broke the rule, run invalid. Well, there is another Generation 1 game with higher level caps, with the trade-off of gym leaders getting better movesets to try. Which brings us to Pokemon Yellow, where the level cap between Misty and Surge is 7 levels instead of 3, which gives our Ghost a bit more wiggle room. The first two gym battles are essentially the same, so I'm not going to cover those, but I am going to highlight some mistakes I made, along with some additional battles that aren't in red and blue. Mistake number 1, accidentally fighting this bug catcher on Route 3. I just walk up to him and press A. But hey, more wiggle room means we can afford mistakes like this. Next is that Pokemon Yellow has a few battles against Jesse and James. They replaced the rocket grunt that you would normally fight in red and blue before the Super Nerd. The only moves they have that can hit me though are Poison Sting on the Ekans and Smog on Coughing, both of which Ghastly double resists. The second of what I considered a mistake was walking in front of this junior trainer with a Slowpoke after defeating the hiker with a single Onix. Whoops. In this run though, Ghastly reaches level 25 after defeating the junior trainer and her 3 annoying Pidgeys, evolving to Haunter, which I quickly evolve into Gengar once entering Vermilion. Since I have 3 levels to play with, I can go ahead and grab the TM for Body Slam on the SSN. While I mentioned earlier in the video that the Ghastly line is not known for its attack stat, Body Slam providing additional coverage, along with the upside of paralyzing, helps out a lot. The Rivals team compared to Red and Blue is also easier in this section, considering I don't have to worry about a Kadabra using Confusion against me. Although in Pokemon Yellow he does have more Sand Attack users, which is a bit annoying. Lieutenant Surge for our Ghost type is much easier in Yellow. Despite being 4 levels higher than his Raichu in Red and Blue, the Raichu knows Thunderbolt, Mega Kick, Mega Punch, and Growl. 3 of his 4 moves can't damage me. I can confuse it to hopefully speed the battle up some, but also just Nightshade it down for an easy win. The prize is the TM for Thunderbolt, which I'm going to teach to Gengar right away. There really isn't much else to talk about until I reach Celadon City. After selling off a bunch of items and TMs that I can't use, I purchase myself 4 Calciums from the department store to boost my special. I then make my way to Saffron City, where I can grab the TM for Psychic, and with this move, Erica is going to be a pushover. Psychic can 1 or 2 shot her grass types, who don't have the firepower to take down Gengar. I have to go through the rocket hideout in the game corner next, and instead of 2 grunts guarding Giovanni's chamber like in Red and Blue, it's Jesse and James. With Psychic now on my moveset though, these 2 are a pushover, as is Giovanni. I have to head to Pokemon Tower and face my rival next, and well, he's going to have to bury his team after what Gengar does to him in this battle. It's a good thing the rival isn't doing a Nuzlocke. Instead of 3 rocket grunts guarding Mr. Fuji, it's Jesse and James, but Psychic makes this battle easy. After wrapping up business in Pokemon Tower, I'm going to head to Cycling Road in Fuchsia City next. I quickly go through the Safari Zone to grab the final HMs I'll need, but instead of taking on Koga right now, I'm actually going to backtrack to Silphco, instead opting for the rival, which might look like a foolish idea on paper, but let's see how this one goes. I start by putting his lead Sandslash to sleep, because this thing still has Sand Attack before 2 Psychics take it out. Cloyster is next, but the tanky Clam doesn't have the best special, so Thunderbolt can get the 1-shot. I wasn't sure if Magneton had Thunder Wave on its moveset or not in this battle, which I looked it up and it doesn't, so I go for Hypnosis to put it to sleep just to be safe, and take it out over 2 turns with Psychic. Kadabra follows and Body Slam nearly gets the 1-shot while also inflicting Paralysis, and its Confusion does over a third. I knock it out and all that's left is Flareon, who like the rest of his team gets put to sleep and then taken down by Psychic. Jesse and James get honorable mentions here, as does Giovanni. That's all I'll cover on these 2. We can now enter a bit of a boss rush blitz, starting with Koga. The Venonats are just 1-shots with Psychic. Venomoth could be dangerous if I wasn't a Ghost type, but we tank its Psychic pretty well, as our own Psychic 2-shots it. Up next is Sabrina, who has a completely different team in yellow than she does in red and blue. Her lead Abra is level 50 and only knows Flash, and if you fail to one-shot it, it can be an annoyance lowering your accuracy. We don't have to worry about it here though, but we do with Kadabra, because it and Alakazam both know Kinesis, which it goes for after Body Slam fails to one-shot. We both trade misses for a few rounds before Kadabra goes for Recover, but Body Slam lands, taking out the middle stage evolution as we move on to her ace Alakazam. Unlike her red and blue Alakazam, this one knows Psychic, which we thankfully don't see. We do see a Psywave before Hypnosis lands and puts it to sleep, and Alakazam snoozes long enough for Body Slam to take it out. Before taking on Blaine, I have to go through the mansion and get the secret key, and I'm going to be picking up any vitamins I come across as well, but I'm also on the verge of breaking one of my own rules, which is surpassing the level cap I have in place for Rival 6. Blaine's level cap in yellow is 54, Giovanni's is 55, and Rival 6's is 53 like in red and blue. And trust me when I say we're going to need the higher level for Blaine and Giovanni, who both got glow-ups to their team from red and blue, and this won't be the last time I surpass a level cap either. Blaine, instead of leading with a Growlithe, now has a Ninetales, and I can't cheese his AI with his lead like in red and blue. Ninetales starts by confusing me, and I do hit myself once before finally landing a Hypnosis. Once it's asleep, I can Thunderbolt down his lead. Rapidash follows and Thunderbolt gets a critical hit to one-shot. Last is Arcanine, and I want to put this thing to sleep and take it out like I did with his lead. It lands a massive critical hit with Fire Blast before I am able to put it to sleep. And from here, Psychic takes it out as the legendary doggo snoozes. Giovanni is the final gym leader, who's normally a pushover in red and blue, but he's one of the toughest gym leaders in yellow. His lead is now a level 50 Dugtrio. The battle starts out in the worst possible way with me missing Hypnosis. This thing has a moveset of Fissure, Earthquake, Dig, and Sand Attack. Dig or Earthquake will hit hard and hurt. I'd rather not see Sand Attack, and Fissure can't hit me because I'm faster. And thankfully we see Fissure. Nice. I do put the mole to sleep the next turn, and Body Slam gets a crit to take it out. Persian is next, and perhaps I should have tried to play this differently. I could have tried to let it hit me with Screech for some badge boost, but that would make Nido Queen, King, and Rhydon's Earthquake more than likely one-shot me. Instead, I take out his cat as fast as possible and move on to the Queen. Psychic leaves it on low red health, and I was expecting to see an Earthquake here, but instead we get a Guard Spec, allowing us to knock it out and move on to Nidoking. I'm not going to take any chances. I go for Hypnosis, but miss, and it retaliates with an Earthquake, hitting me hard. Gengar barely survives with 22 HP remaining. My next Hypnosis lands and Psychic is able to get the one-shot, moving on to his ace Rhydon. Hypnosis lands as Giovanni uses a Guard Spec. One Psychic isn't enough to knock out the Rock Rhino, as it wakes up, but since we're faster, we get the win. Rival 6 time. I guess by my rules, this run is now invalid here, but let's just tweak that level cap rule since it's a different game and try to get this one to the end. He leads with Sandslash, who gets taken out by a critical hit Psychic. Execute follows, and I land a Hypnosis to put it to sleep before I start body slamming his eggs. It wakes up after a turn, and my next body slam inflicts paralysis, but Execute does the same to me with a Stun Spore. I get caught in paralysis one turn before another body slam connects, taking it out. Cloyster's next, and had this thing gone for Clamp, it could have stun locked me and ended the Nuzlocke here, but it just goes for Withdraw, and Thunderbolt takes it out. Magneton follows, and it now has Thunder Wave, which doesn't matter since I'm already paralyzed. I do get caught in paralysis a few turns as it chips me down with Thunder Shock before two Psychics take it out. Kadabra is next, and this thing is scary. I'm not gonna bother going for Hypnosis, instead rolling the dice with Body Slam, which connects to one-shot the Psychic type after it brings me under half HP with a Psybeam. Flareon is last, and it also has a move to stun lock me and Fire Spin. Thankfully it misses, and I land a Hypnosis to put it to sleep, and from here, two Psychics get us the win. That was close. Our lone Gengar is at the cap and vitamined up, and this is what we're working with. Our moveset hasn't changed. Psychic, Body Slam, Hypnosis, and Thunderbolt. We have honestly made it further than I expected in this Nuzlocke. Let's see if Gengar can get over the finish line for the Ghost type. Up first is Lorelei and her Ice types, and unfortunately, this is the other battle where I break my rule of leveling up mid-battle past the boss trainer's ace. But you know what? We've made it this far, and we can default to the universal rule that I was at or below the level cap at the start of the battle. Anyway, I just leave my cursor on Thunderbolt for this one. Things could have went south against Jinx because Ice Punch always has that chance to freeze, but we don't see that here and the run can continue. For Bruno, just leave your cursor on Psychic, that's all I'm gonna say, and for Agatha, it's the same. But I will at least give her credit that 1, she's able to damage me, granted it's only 7 HP, and that Psychic has to 2-shot her Gengars. Her final Gengar also knows Psychic and has an opportunity to use it, but it chooses Dream Eater. This brings us to Lance, and Lance in yellow is a lot tougher than Lance in red and blue. His lead Gyarados is no problem due to being 4 times weak to Thunderbolt, but his Dragonairs have actual movesets, with the first knowing Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Slam, and Hyper Beam, and his second knowing Wrap, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam, and Hyper Beam. Aerodactyl and Dragonite also got glow-ups to their movesets, but I have to make it by his Dragonairs before I can talk about them. Psychic has to 2-shot the Dragonairs unfortunately, and his first inflicts paralysis with Thunderbolt. This battle already isn't looking good. I knock it out and move on to the second Dragonair, who chips me down to half HP with Ice Beam as I have to 2-shot it. Moving on to Aerodactyl. It chooses its strongest move it can use against me, Fly, which does less than I expected, as my Hail Mary Hypnosis hits and Thunderbolt takes out the prehistoric Pokemon. Last is his Ace Dragonite, which now knows Blizzard, Thunder, Fire Blast, and Hyper Beam. It chooses Blizzard, bringing me to 5 HP as a second Hail Mary Hypnosis hits. Dragonite stays snoozing long enough for Psychic to get the 3-hit knockout. That was a close one. Prior to the battle against the champion, I popped Candies to level 64 right below his level cap of 65. I figured I was going to need the next damage rounding threshold, along with some good luck to win this one. He starts with Sandslash, who I put to sleep immediately because I don't want this thing hitting me with Earthquake, as 2 Psychics take it out. Alakazam follows and I miss my Hypnosis. It lands a Psychic, doing over half, and at least it doesn't drop my special. My next Hypnosis hits and 2 Body Slams take it out. Exeggutor follows, and this thing has Leech Seed, which if it goes for it and hits, I think that's GG. We trade misses with Hypnosis before I land one, only for it to wake up immediately, but I land a second. Exeggutor snoozes and I go for Body Slam to take this thing out. It's going to be a 4-hit KO, but my third scores a critical hit. Up next is Magneton, and I put it to sleep because I don't want it going for Thunder Wave. My following Psychic does half as it wakes up. My next Psychic leaves it on low red health, and I fully expected to see Thunder Wave here, but Magneton chooses Thunderbolt. It doesn't paralyze, I take it out, move on to Cloyster, which is one-shot by Thunderbolt, and last is Flareon. I stick with Thunderbolt on it, which does over a third. Flareon goes for Reflect, as my next Thunderbolt scores a critical hit, winning us the run. While I had to bend some of the rules I personally use for my Nuzlocks, we did it. We beat a hardcore Nuzlocke in Generation 1 using only the Ghost type. But as of right now, this video isn't very long, and well, I want to flip back to Pokemon Blue. While we've already noted that the run is invalid due to surpassing Surge's level cap, I want to play this one out. I'm not going to highlight every major battle in this run, since we just watched them in yellow, but if anything noteworthy happens or if anything is close, I'll bring it up. The first thing I'll mention is this. Since we've already passed Surge's level cap, I'm going to skip Body Slam and try to make things a bit fairer. And well, I just pass his cap even further after defeating the rival on the SS Anne. Skipping ahead, still on minimum battles, and making my way to Celadon City, I battle this last with 2 Clefairy since they give less experience than the Gambler, and well, we surpass Erica's level cap. And again, this is on minimum battles with a solo Mon. Let's jump ahead to Rival 5, and the run almost ends against his Alakazam. I picked up Mega Kick since I skipped Body Slam, and it leaves Alakazam on a sliver, as Psybeam scores a critical hit doing massive damage. We finish it the next turn, and Thunderbolt doesn't one-shot the following Charizard, but thankfully Ember is a weak move and we're able to move on. We have another scare against Sabrina's Alakazam. Mega Kick leaves it on low yellow health as it goes for Reflect. I go for Thunderbolt hoping that will be enough, and it isn't. Sabrina heals it up and there's some back and forth with Alakazam, bringing us to low yellow health. But in the end, we take it out and we can move on. Believe it or not, Giovanni was a battle that worried me. Well, I should say just one of his Pokemon, Dugtrio, because it does know Dig, and I froze when Mega Kick failed to get the one-shot, but Giovanni just uses a guard spec. I can finish off the mole and the rest of his team is easy to clean up. Let's jump straight to the champion battle, and I'm going to freeze frame it here because I have a lot to talk about. I didn't use candies in this run until after Giovanni to bring myself to level 52 for Rival 6, then again to 55 for Lorelei, and again to 64 for the champion, because like in Yellow, I felt like I was going to need the higher level. I also no longer have Hypnosis on my learn set in this run, opting for Mega Drain instead for good reason. Now to the battle. Mega Kick doesn't one-shot Alakazam, leaving it on a sliver. It retaliates with Psychic, doing over half and thankfully doesn't lower my special. I can finish it with Thunderbolt and move on to Rhydon, and this is where Mega Drain comes in handy. Not only does it one-shot the Rock Rhino, but it restores me back to full HP, and from here I can take out the rest of his team with ease. And this run crosses the finish line as well. So, if we're asking the question of can you beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Blue with only the Ghost type if you play by a strict rule set? No you can't. Play Yellow instead. If you bend them some, then yes, and I'm sure there's going to be a comment about experience sharing with HM users, and I feel like that's just against the spirit of the Nuzlocke. It's like in a solo run if you were to switch in your HM user to get rid of confusion on your solo running Mon, but that's the Ghost type down, and I'm sure y'all want to see Dragon next. And hey, maybe I'll get around to it. Maybe I'll modify the game and do it with Steel types. Of course, that would take a lot of modifying, putting in the typing, modifying Magnemite's learn set to give me something for Brock, and of course, I would have to add Magnezone to the game. As always, thank you guys for the continued support on the channel. Special shout out to the channel members, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Take care, everybody.